Alrighty. Think we might be live? Right. Think we're all right. Oh, look, everybody's gone silent now. Look, what's happened? Do you want me to get the fan and just direct it at you? Right then. Oh yeah, we'll pull the blinds. Not too much because we still need to get some of the air in. Right. Hello, everyone. Can you hear me all right? I don't need to use a microphone, do I? My voice got to be loud enough, so that's good to know. Even at the back, give us a wave. Bad boys at the back, look. Naughty boys. Welcome, everybody. Thank you for joining us. Just to let you know, I do have this ridiculous microphone on because we are live streaming the event as well. We're trying it out. God knows if it's going to work. Fingers crossed, but we decided to try a bit of live streaming for the people that couldn't actually attend. Why they wouldn't want to come to Bristol, I don't know, but they're not here, so we decided we'd maybe send them a live stream link as well. So Claire's going to be monitoring that, hopefully, and watching all the hate comments come in as I'm speaking. Welcome to the Engine Shed. Hands up, who's been here before? Who came to the last one? Not the Selectec people. I know you were here. Thank you, George. Perfect. Right. Okay. So first time round for you guys. So we. Oh, is this going to work? There we go. Turn it on. Technology. Why are we doing the event in Bristol? Mainly because we like Bristol, and I'm from Bristol, and Bristol's an amazing place. But we've also done an event like this previously in the past here, as we did. Like this auditorium seating, so we're not putting you behind tables and everything like that. We want to get your attention and focus it on what we've got here to say today. We will probably take this to other cities because I don't know why, but everyone doesn't want to come to Bristol. I can't understand it myself personally. But to let you know, obviously there will be a few updates about the Selectec side of it, but the main hub or the main sales side of Selectec is actually based down here in the southwest. So I'll introduce the company, but we are all remote workers. So we work all over the UK. The sales director myself, the managing director, two of our sales team, they're actually based in and around Bristol, so that's why we thought we'd try it down in Bristol. So we appreciate you making the effort, is what I'm trying to get at, for coming all the way down here to farmer country, and hopefully you can understand everything, and I won't need to get any translation services in. So, bit of an agenda of what we're going to do, or what I'm going to do in the first bit. We've got a few of the Selectecers coming down to give you an idea of what's going on, but I thought what I'll do is I'll give you a run through of the event, what we're going to be covering, and also do a little bit of a Selectec introduction as well. So what are we doing today? We are going to do the reintroduction to the Selectec team. I know that sounds a little bit interesting, but what I'm going to do is just give you an idea of what's recently changed within Selectec, because there have been some quite major changes in the management structure, and some appointments and some people moving and people changing roles as well. So I thought it might be nice for you to find out what's actually going on. We're then going to have Diane and Lee, who is here as well. Diane's on her way. She's coming all the way from Essex, bless her. So they're going to do a presentation around, or give you an idea of what Selectec services. So what else can we offer? Yeah, you all know we sell paper cut, square 9 folder, all of those good products. But what else can we do? I'm hoping that a few of you do already know a few things that we can do, but we'll give you an overview of that and maybe give you a few ideas about what you can sell alongside that. Then we're very lucky to have Chris Wheeler from Folder. So he's the what's the word? The genius behind Folder, shall we say? Don't say that when he's here yet, because we can't give him any credit. We can't give him any claps. No, he doesn't like that. But he's actually coming down to speak to you guys a little bit about what's going on at Folder, and it's going to be a nice little question and answer session with Damien and Chris as well. Then, well, we were meant to have Max, who you may or may not know. He's one of our channel managers here. Unfortunately, is laid up and very, very ill, and has been for the past few days. So he's decided to not come and infect you all, which I thought was very nice of him. But that does mean that myself and Damien now have to stumble our way through his presentation. So going to apologise that from the outset. We may make a hash of it, but we'll try and get through and get the main points across to you that Max was trying to put forward. Then we've got Nick Gill, who's going to be doing our training resources. So what can you do with regards to training courses, certification, showing you a few of the LMS, how to get into them, all the different products and what they offer from a credibility point of view for you guys. Then we have Folder and Square 9 update and USPs from Damien, and Sean is also on her way, all the way from Suffolk, not Norfolk, because I get told off if I say she's from Norfolk because she moved to Suffolk. Apparently that's a thing. So she's coming all the way from Suffolk, and they're going to be also doing a secret project. Ooh, I can hear. It does, doesn't it? Secret project. I'm not going to tell you more about that. And unfortunately for those guys watching the live stream, that is where we will end at this point here. So only people that actually came down and got to the event, you will all hear about our secret project. So there you go. I had to give you a little something. And also you can come to the pub with us afterwards. So again, bonus, right? So let's get into it. Who are Selectec? I'm hoping that most of you know who we are, or else you wouldn't be here. That would make sense. But we are a business that has been around for 40 years. Yes, the company is as old as me. It was formed the year before I was born. It's almost like it was meant to be, I think. And we do have operations within the UK, the Nordics, and Australia. So it's just an idea to give you an overview of who Selectec are and where we are within the country. And we're very, very lucky to have two of our Nordic guys over here today. So I won't embarrass them and tell them to stand up and say hello, but I do have a little bit of an update as to what's going on with the Nordic team over there. As I said before, we are a remote workforce. There is 22 of us in the UK, there is 7 in the Nordics, and 2 or 3 over in Australia as well. But we all work remotely. So we do have an office. It is in Basingstoke, so you probably won't ever want to go there. But we do have an office in Basingstoke. We do have meeting facilities and all that good stuff as well. What we also have access to, though, is Paper Cuts, EMEA headquarters. All right, and I say that because a few of the slides about collaborative working, doing events, doing things like that, customer events, reseller events, whatever it may be, we do have access to that as a facility as well. It's a nice story. It's a nice office. It is in Bracknell, but you can't have everything. So we do have access to that, and we can obviously work with you guys to host events or whatever it may be there as well. And I also put on there about the idea, the channel side of things. As you all know, we are a channel organization. We do not sell direct. We never have done. We never will do. But we are actually part of a wider channel, which is the Idea Network, or Alliance, if you will. And that is made up of distributors all across the world. So the reason I put it in there is because if you do ever come across a customer opportunity that spans outside of the UK and it needs European assistance, or even in the Middle East, even in America, wherever it may be, if they've got different offices, we are part of this alliance, which covers something like 100 countries and 1,200 resellers in total. We have that ability to offer it to you guys as well. Because you're part of Selectec, you are part of that channel and you have that resource available to you. Okay? I forgot to mention in the beginning, if you guys have questions, you know the Selectec events, just ask them. Don't feel afraid to put your hand up and ask us a question while we're going through it, mainly because you'll get bored of my voice in about 15 minutes. So what are the recent changes? So I'm going to proviso this because I did actually ask for people's photos for this bit. See if you can guess which one I wasn't that happy with. Obviously, we have Steve Hart. That's a very nice photo, isn't it? Look at that. Gorgeous. Gorgeous. And he's sat over here, and he has recently been promoted to Managing Director of Selectec. Some of you may know Paul Weston, who was the previous Managing Director. He has now sidestepped, I think you would call it, into a group CEO position. So he's managing the overarching group, as it were, the UK, the Nordics, and the Australian operations. But our Steve, our big Ted, is now in charge of the whole company. Okay, so he's sitting as a managing director. That guy, he's here. Where is he? He's run away. Oh, there he is. So we have appointed a CTO. That is Damien. He's over there. Please. The dog's the CTO. So it is the first time in Selectec's history that we've had a CTO. We're very happy to have him, and he's been working alongside us for probably sort of 4 or 5 years now. 4 years. So we've recently made that appointment. This is our new operations director. As you know, I'm sure some of you have met Ross before. If you've had the pleasure, you know why he would put that kind of stupid photo on there. But yeah, he is our operations director. Like I said, I asked for a photo. That's the one he gave me. So yes, absolutely. It's not even in he's not even in costume. Apparently, that's just how he walks around the house day to day. But that is Ross. He's going to be he's our operations director. Myself, I have been promoted to sales director, so I'm now looking after the sales team. I'm also working obviously very closely with the guys in the Nordics as well. But I'm now looking after the channel and marketing team from Selectec. We have Rob Hood. Some of you may know that name, I hope. He is very well known within the industry. People go like that. Oh, I know. But he is now our head of technical services. What Rob does is he is looking after the PS and the support guys. So he sits directly under Ross and he looks after the whole of our technical services side of things. To say that he's made some impressive changes already in his tenure as head of technical services is an understatement. He has put in official processes for statement of works, proof of concepts, installs, training, delivery, support, everything like that. So Rob has really made a very positive change to Selectec since he's been promoted to head of technical services. And she's not here to argue this, so I'm just going to say that Sian is now our head of reseller operations. So what we did with Sian is that we understand that she is the lady that makes everything tick within Selectec. If you've met Sian, if you've dealt with her, you know she is our oracle. She is the one on the background that actually makes everything happen. So what we did was we took her away from the sort of product side of things, and she is now looking after the reseller operations. How can we make your lives better? How can we make it easier? How can we make it more fulfilling? And there's one of them now. Look at that. Perfect. Diane's here. Don't worry, Lee. She's here. You don't have to do it all on your own. So Sian is our head of reseller operations. And as if by magic, look at that. Our latest hire. So this is Diane, everybody. She has come on board recently to look after us. To look after some of the channel as our newest channel manager. So please, by all means, introduce yourself. And she's going to be doing a little bit later on the Selectec services. So numbers. Everybody loves numbers. How are you doing? What's business like? Is it really good? Is what's going on? It's happening. I literally put 3 numbers on the board, and that is we did 5.4 million in 2021, we did 6.3 in 2022, and we're already at 6.2 in 23. I would like to say that it might have been the appointment of a very, very clever sales director that is currently pushing forward these sales and doing a fantastic job. But I just wanted to show you that we are growing. We are pushing forward. We are trying to improve. We're trying to bring on more partners. We're trying to bring on more products. We're trying to bring on more services for you guys. But we're hoping to hit the 7 million this year. That's my goal. Well, my goal's 8, but I don't know. I'm trying to be as good as I can. But this is just to show you. This is where we're at. This is the current state of the market, and we're currently growing, which is always a good thing. I put in the news from the Nordics because they're here. I felt like they deserved a little bit of a slide. So some of you may not care, but the Nordics are here, the Scandinavian business, and I just wanted to put this up here as a point more than anything. That to give you a bit of history, we started working with the Nordics 5 years ago, late 2017. Since then, we have had the fact that these guys are the Nordic market leaders. So they are the leading software distributor within the Nordic market. They have new additions, one of which is actually with us. And I'm going to point him out because he's there, Christopher. So please introduce yourself to him. And Christopher has come on as their DMS business development side of things. So specifically focusing on things like Folder, Square 9, Enterprise, that kind of stuff. So these are the new additions that are coming on. They also have another technical resource called Patrick. He's working in Sweden at the moment, so you can see that the company is growing, the guys are pushing forward, and the teams are expanding. As I said, growing team and some customer wins. Paul Eric specifically has got some serious customers under his belt, mainly with Papercut and Square 9, but is also leading the charge with Christopher from a Folder point of view. I won't say the company names, don't worry, Paul Eric, but one of them, as soon as I say it, Damien starts crying. So I don't want to say the customer name, but we have they're the largest VAT provider in Scandinavia. Yeah, so they basically deal with all of the VATs and tax for companies in Denmark, Sweden, Norway, wider Europe, and they are now working specifically with Selectec and have been for a while on our Square 9 and folder solution. All right, so there's some big names there. I'm not going to mention the other one, Damo, don't worry. Moving forward, so the growth side from the Nordics, there you go, there's some numbers for you. They started off at 1.4 million in 2021, 1.8 in 22, and they already at 1.6 in 2023. So the reason I put this slide up there is to show that partnership with Selectec does work, because these guys are now acting as Selectec in the Nordics. So it's not a, what's the word I'm looking for? It's a partnership. It's not like a franchise, if you will. These guys are acting on our behalf as Selectec in the Nordic channel. So they have access to all of our services, all of our people, all of our resources that we have. And this is what we've done so far. I showed this to Paul Eric last night and he went, that number's way too low. It's going to be at least 2.3 this year. So you heard it here first, and I've just said it on live stream as well. So you better perform. You better perform, Paul Eric. But this is, again, I'm just showing this slide because this is what partnership with Selectec looks like. This is the growth, and this is the way we're moving forward. And these guys are pushing the envelope all the time within the Nordic market. So the portfolio. This event isn't very product driven. This is very much more around the sales cycle, the sales side, the sales support, how we can improve your businesses, how we can help you improve your resources and your technical side of things. That's what this event is based around. We do have product focused events, which I will mention in a little while, but these are key solutions, shall we say. I'm hoping that most of you know who they are on there. Obviously, I'm sure all of you know who Papercut are. Square 9 is our ECM solution. Intuitive, which is your interactive dashboards for Papercut and others as well. So they're actually working with not only Papercut, but a few other print providers, and also some document management, IIM sort of side of things as well. So Intuitive is a big one for us. KPAX is our fleet management. Hello, Chris. How are you? Fleet management side of things, so MPS and all the rest of it. That's what we do with KPAX. Again, if you want more information, guys, we can give that to you. Please do mention to us, but we're not going to press too much on the products today. Folder, as if by magic, look at that. He's turned up. The man himself is here. Folder, which we've talked about a lot, and you will hear a little bit about later on in the presentation from Chris, and also from Damien and Sean as well. And we also have the Eletech side of things, which is your card readers, your TCP IP converters, the comparable products to work with those print management and those document management solutions. So if you want any of them, give us a shout. We can sort you out. Okay, that's the sales pitch. I wasn't asked, I did it on my own, to be honest with you, but I thought it would be nice for us to present some kind of vision or some kind of forward thinking or some kind of strategy from Selectec, and I came up with GEL. What that stands for is obviously guiding, evolving, and leading. I know this is very wishy-washy, and I do appreciate it, but we had to put something up there, and I wanted to show you guys what we think about Selectec and how we're progressing and how we're moving forward and how we're trying to support our reseller channel. So what I did was I took those words and I thought about how can we envelop that into a statement as such, and we came up with this one. So yes, it is a bit wordy, but I hope that you can read it and I hope it sort of makes sense. Essentially what we're trying to do there is become a trusted guide for you guys. So we're here to help you, we're here to support you, we're here to run alongside you to guide you through this digital transformation landscape. We know that the market is evolving. We know that your customer needs are evolving. We know that this is going to be happening on a more regular basis. We're confident that we can help you and we can support you along those evolutions if needed. And we're always trying to lead the way with the innovative products that we have. So there you go. That's the GEL. We're trying to hold everything all together for you and support you in the best way that we can. Future events. So this is, as I said, our second time doing this in Bristol in the engine shed. I think if it turns out well and we get some decent feedback, we will try and look at getting it into other cities, maybe London, maybe somewhere up north. I don't know, maybe Reading. There you are. You don't have to travel so far then. But we will be taking this to other cities where we can. But what we've got at the moment is obviously this one. We do have a London event. It's going to be in the second, third week of November. And that is going to be a solutions focused event. So it's going to be literally our portfolio. These are the benefits, these are the features, these are the commercials, these are the pricing models, these are how we think it's going to help customers. And it's across all of our products. Okay, so it is literally a product solution showcase. We do it kind of like a speed dating event where you basically stand up, go into the next stream, stand up, go into the next stream, and you kind of get a bit of a breadth of all of the products across them. So we're going to be doing that one. And we're very lucky to have our first Scottish event. So we've actually booked that one. We're actually going to Glasgow for our sins. No, I've heard Glasgow is very, very nice, and we're looking forward to it. So we're actually going up across the border because we haven't done an event in Scotland before. So we thought it would be a nice change for us to go up there and maybe talk to some of the more northern resellers, or very northern resellers, should we say. So we're going to be doing that one. And we have a new webinar series which is going to be coming out. I don't know whether you guys were around or where you were or following Selectec through the whole COVID side of things, but the webinar series was very, very popular, funnily enough, in COVID. So what we're looking at doing is I've very kindly asked Diane to lead our webinar series. So she's taking that on, and we're going to be rebranding that, basically pushing that forward again and creating a new webinar series. The layout wise, we're going to be doing like a feature focus once a month. So it's literally like a 15-minute, grab a cup of coffee. We're going to tell you about this feature from this product. And it will be across our product portfolio. It won't just all be on one thing. And we'll do those once a month just to give you a little update, little snippet into some of the products that we sell, some of the cool features that we think could be really interesting. And then once a quarter, we will do a longer presentation, where a longer webinar, sorry, where we'll be talking about updates across all of the solutions. Okay, so we'll be talking about what's happening, what's coming next, what do we think was cool from that particular one, but we'll go across our entire portfolio. So that's what we're trying to do. And again, this isn't for our benefit, this is for you guys, this is for our partners, this is for our channel, this is us trying to help you guys to understand the evolving market, the evolving needs, and trying to guide you through the mishmash of all the products that are out there at the present moment. And we've got more coming in Q1 2024. So if you've got any suggestions, if you've got any thoughts where we should go, where we should be, and again, if you guys want to host events with us, we can do that as well. And we'll talk a little bit more about that in a later presentation. So that's me for the moment. Oh, look at that, on time as well. Bosh, done. And I'm going to hand over now to Diane and Lee. Oh, go give him a clap. Give him a clap. Come on. Right. You need to put these Madonna-style microphones on.
Yes.
There you go.
Fantastic.
I'll get you mic'd up.
Learn the dance routine,
Yeah,
everything to go with this. How do you even do this?
Well, just like Janet Jackson here, I tell you.
But the hair's an issue.
There you go. And just pin that. Try not to push the buttons on it. Sorry. Right. Away you go, guys.
Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. How are we? So here at Selectec, we do love to talk about products and features. I think today we're going to mainly talk about the Selectec services. So Diane and myself are going to basically show you how you and your customers can benefit from the knowledge and support. Let me hand over to Diane to explain more.
Right, well, hopefully this is working. Have we got the okay on the mic?
Yeah.
And hopefully I can work the clicker as well. No, we've gone backwards. Okay, so what is Selectec Support Plus? That's what I'm here to talk about today. So SSP is an extended service package that gives customers, so your end users, direct access to the Selectec support team. So therefore that can reduce the burden on your own support and technical teams. Couple of clicks. So what is SSP all about? Excuse me if this, I just don't want to get it wrong. So SSP is aimed at those resellers that are unable to support the customers themselves. And there may be a variety of reasons for that, such as, and quite simply, you're too busy or you're already overstretched. Or maybe your technical teams don't quite have the technical ability yet. At Selectec, we do prefer to upskill your technical teams. That would always be our first preference. And we've got lots of different training kind of available to you, whether it's via partner portals, whether it's via online learning systems. And there are cases where we can also do some face-to-face bespoke training for your technical teams. But if you're not at that level yet, SSP might be for you. Or another reason for taking out SSP could simply be that you have a mix of manufacturers in your MIF base, and maybe due to some manufacturer obligations, you're not able to work on all of those devices. So there's a few reasons there why SSP may be an option for you guys. Currently, it's available on PaperCut MF and PaperCut Hive, but we are looking to extend this service across the portfolio in the near future. So how does a customer raise a support ticket? So you've taken out SSP, the customer's now like, I have an issue, what do they do? Well, it's quite simple, and it happens in very much the same way that you retailers at the moment would raise a support issue. So in the first instance, it'll be by creating a ticket, and then there'll be a telephone call, there could be email, and there could be some remote assistance as well involved. But it's pretty much standard stuff. Here we go. So how is it priced? So the pricing to SSP is supplementary to a valid support and maintenance contract, and it has to be an equal or greater length than that particular contract. And you can buy it in 12-month periods. So from 12 months all the way through to 60 months. And it will start as little as just under £300 for an initial 12-month period. So a few little side notes, and let's not get this one wrong. It is limited to one application server with a minimum of 10 embedded devices, and that includes devices connected via a site server. And there are some additional charges for extra devices on the same server or for additional application servers. But don't get bogged down in that, because obviously we can always provide you bespoke quotes as and when you need. Some key requirements. So you'll see in the box on the right here, there are a few requirements needed before we can accept an SSP request. And I'll just highlight a couple of those. The first being the important one, like I just mentioned, it does have to run alongside a support and maintenance contract. And if the software installation in the first instance was not completed by Selectec, then we would have to perform a chargeable health check just to make sure that the systems are all up and running and can perform how we would expect before we take that on. How do you know, though, if you need to have one of these health checks? But it's really simple. Like I just said, if the relevant software was not initially installed by Selectec, then we would perform a one-off remote diagnostic check of the customer's installation, just to make sure that it's running at its optimal level and to maybe make any adjustments before we take on that contract. And I've just told you all that wonderful stuff, this great service that we can provide to you, but an upgrade is already in the pipeline and coming soon. So it's going to be getting its all its own logos, its new website. It's going to have some new pricing on there as well. But you don't have to wait for that upgrade, because SSP is here. It's ready to go. It's already kind of in the portfolio. You can use it. Come and talk to us and see if kind of using our support and our resources can help you and your end users. So I hope all of that makes sense. Please come and find us a bit later if you want to discuss that any further. And I'm going to pass the baton, or the clicker, should I say, back over to Lee.
Thank you, Diane. So with the diverse nature of businesses that we encounter, even our highly configurable off-the-shelf products will sometimes require a helping hand to meet the requirements of every client. Selectec can specify and develop software in a controlled environment, providing bespoke solutions to match customers' requirements and exceed expectations. Our in-house developers are a clever and creative bunch. They can write code and verify its integrity. Most of all, they love talking about the problems that they are facing and how they can help turn it around. That was the wrong way, wasn't it? So here's some examples of the custom nodes we have developed to expand and simplify the powerful global capture and global action applications from Square9 Softworks, as well as the wonderful folder solution. Over the last few years, we have built many components, such as the auto print node that can add print outputs to any Square9 global capture workflow. Multiple print instances can be included using print driver defaults to alter the paper output. Another is the PaperCut workflow tracking node. As the name suggests here, you can track, account, and report on a Square9 workflow in PaperCut, allocate departments, user and costs to various workflow outcomes. The best thing is all these were built in-house for actual projects, not just for fun. If you have a custom project such as a payment gateway, a connector to integrate from an ERP system, or to script writing need into the powerful folder add-on MASH product, be sure to get in touch. The last section is all about working together. We believe it's good to talk and encourage our partners to get us involved at any time they wish. So to make sure everything goes as smoothly as possible, we can provide professional services assistance in 3 key areas. Okay, so the first area is training. We use the saying every day's a school day quite a lot here at Selectec. So building product knowledge and confidence play an important role in creating an engaged channel partner. So whether it's helping you build a workflow script to automate a manual data entry process, or teaching you sales techniques, we are here to help you. The second key area is consultation. Everyone knows that 2 heads are better than 1, and it is far easier to set expectations beforehand, remembering that we only get 1 shot at a first impression. If a solution is not working as intended out of the box, then it can leave a negative impression on the end user's mind, and it can be tough to win that confidence back. The third and final key area is installation. Having helped at planning stage, we are more than happy to get involved on the ground also. Be that clicking all the buttons and provided end user training, or simply lending a helping hand on a clustered multi-device embedded rollout, we've got your back. I hope you found the presentation useful. From Diane and myself, thank you for listening.
Thank you.
Clicking through.
We are clicking through, I believe.
You bored yet? No? Everyone's still here? You're not allowed to. So what we thought, guys, is we got sort of 3 sections that we're going to go through. So we're going to go through the side of things. We're going to do a bit, seeing as he's not here. Straight to that. Right. Thank you, guys. We're back. Hello, everybody. Is it fans only? Right, so we're going to change it up a little bit, guys, just because we think it might make a nice sort of a better running order. So we're going to go through with Chris and Damien here, who are going to be doing their section. Then we're going to go through the part of that Max is meant to be covering, so your training and the marketing and sales resources and all that good stuff. Then we're going to let Gilly up and let him talk a little bit, and then we might give you another 5-10 minute break just to really refresh you. And then we're going to bring you back and do the secret project. But after Nick Gill's bit, that's when we'll be shutting the live stream off and we can stop looking like Madonna. Okay? So we're going to do that now. This be like a virgin. Never. Right. So we're going to go through, and this is going to be Damien and Chris.
It's actually supposed to just be Chris.
It's just supposed to be Chris.
I didn't know I was dressing like a plain flight sim either. I don't know how this works. It's like being taunted by a Brazil nut. What's that?
Taunted by a Brazil nut.
We're already starting.
There you go.
There we go. I'm going to hold this. Is this on? Sorry. Chris has been horribly busy, and I building software things. I have also been horribly busy. So, in an epic failure to prepare, we decided that rather than prepare, we'd turn this into a sort of improv Q&A. Actually, I don't know. So I will start this with a story. Chris is possibly the person I had the weirdest meeting with. This doesn't work. I don't like this wire thing. Sorry. In fact, Chris was the first non-Selectec meeting that I had when I joined Selectec. Possibly the strangest thing. We now meet fairly regularly and put the worlds to rights, don't we? So
we do. Yeah.
Is it safe to say that you actually do write folder in terms of actually making the thing that you've seen on the screen? If you've seen folder, come on, please get involved. Yeah, good. None of the Selectecs put their hands up. I was slightly worried. Diane did. Right. So Chris is the guy that actually did that. We actually, when I said, "Have you got any slides to tell people about folder?" You said no. So
well, I did. I used to a long time ago. I used to write it, sell it, present it, and all that kind of stuff. But then we had that weird meeting, and you got me quite busy.
Yeah.
So I don't quite have so much time to present and sell.
Have you early on actually blamed your lack of preparation, therefore, on me? Is that what you've just done there?
Well, a little bit. I mean, when they said they wanted me to come to a conference this week and speak to a ginger person, I thought Angela Rayner was going to be here. So, is she behind? No,
it's going to be like that, is it?
Well, a little bit.
It's going to be like that.
A little bit.
It is, yeah.
We probably need to explain that gag to the guys from the Nordics a bit later because they're not going to know.
No, I'm just going to leave them with it. They can Google it. It's fine. Cool. Right, tell us about. We put some things on the screen. Tell us a little bit about folder. Tell us a little bit about how it came about. Give us some spin.
Potted history of folder. So myself and the other guys on the team were all veterans or casualties, depending on which way you look at it, of schools IT. Technically, I used to be a rock star, but that didn't pay the bills. Schools IT was next, and. So we were kind of faced with a lot of data and no way to access it, as was the way back when. So we developed Folder as a kind of dead simple remote access solution. And it kind of grew from there, really. It began as browser-based folder and file access. It then became tablet-based folder and file access with the advent of the iPad and that sort of thing. It then became more of a storage aggregator, if you like. So we went from remote access to remote access plus cloud access all in one nice kind of package and everything, storage agnostic. Doesn't matter to teachers or the people in the business or whatever, where their files in SharePoint or on the server or whatever. You get it through one nice place. And then then we met some weird guys at the bet show who said, "We're from Selectec. Do you want to buy what we're selling?" And
I'd like to
You
point
weren't
out,
there.
I was
No.
not one of those weird
No.
guys.
I don't know whether. Oh, Ben was. Okay. Yeah. He gave me a card and it went in the pile of things to, throw in the pub on a night or whatever. But actually, they were quite persistent. And we had a couple of chats, and we kind of liked what they were selling, actually, and more importantly, they liked what we were selling. So we started working together. I guess that was about 2015, 16, something like that. Yeah, back then. We carried on sort of where we were from there. Then a little while later, Damien joined the business. Met with Damien. Strange meeting, as he said.
Very strange.
He had.
You were wearing superhero trainers that day.
I was wearing superhero trainers
Yeah,
that day.
that's when I learned that developers are not the same as the rest of us.
Well, I'm wearing superhero underpants today,
Okay,
so
it's fine.
just to. So now you know. And Damien had some what I thought were very strange ideas around what Folder could do, and it took a little while and a lot of cajoling and some beer and coffee and various other things, but. I think we now can probably say that Folder is very much aligned with the way Selectec work and what Selectec have to offer. And I'm very, very proud to stand in front of you today and, be able to talk about where we're at.
Yeah. I'm actually not going to say this. I'm actually really proud of Folder. Anyone who spends time with, I'm not allowed out very much anymore. I think they actually gave me a different job title to stop me going out. I think that's what it's all about. I don't have accounts, I don't do those things. But hopefully, I've been into meetings with people recently. The enthusiasm we have for the product actually does come across because we have worked with the guys who actually built it. And it's a very different kind of interesting thing. So I'm actually really proud of it as well. So there we go. That's it. It feels like a verbal hug.
All the feels.
All of those. Feels. Tell me about this. Is there really, or has there really been more than 1 million Folder users? Because that was a number given to us by Mr. Thorne, one of your colleagues. Is this true?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. You can get that. I mean, you can get that from the stats for the download for the apps from the various stores and that sort of thing. The number of user licenses that we've sold and that sort of thing. I mean, Folder is. I'm not sure if we're going to talk about this today or not, but Folder is currently a self-installed, self-managed product. I don't know if we'll get onto the new things in the offing today or not. And so, we're kind of, in touch with all of the sites that run it and that sort of thing. And it's a big number, but
it is a big number. It's actually a disruptive number in ECM terms for a product you've never heard of. To have an active user base quite that big is bizarre. Not bizarre, but certainly interesting. So for me, anytime we introduce Folder, we have to go. I'm going to call this pain. You do the eyebrow thing when I talk about this. But why is Folder an appliance? Why isn't it a traditional install kind of tool? We haven't prepped this. I've been writing the questions on the train and here this morning. So I am terrified about what he might actually come out with. So if the lights go off and the screen stop and we disappear, it's because we're censoring. Right, that's happening. But why? Why is Folder written differently to the usual bring me a Windows server, install it kind of approach?
Well, because, you can throw any marketing term at it you like. You could call Folder a cloud in a box. As I say, you can call it a storage aggregator. You can call it, whatever like that, really. But it is essentially an entire SaaS product within one container. Anybody who's ever spun up any kind of tool on premise or whatever, which requires any kind of internet access or browser-based access, requires any kind of data management and that sort of thing. You're in the realms of installing a web server, you're in the realms of installing a database server, all that kind of stuff. But with Folder, you fire up the VM and everything's there and everything's running for you and everything's scaled and everything's nicely manageable and that sort of thing. Our initial customer base, because it's where we came from, was schools. And schools, they might get the IT guy in once a fortnight if they're lucky. So, they don't have scope for running database servers and web servers and all that kind of stuff. But in the beginning, we don't advise now, but in the beginning, they could fire the thing up on an old PC or on a Mac Mini or whatever. In fact, actually, we worked with a lot of Apple resellers to begin with because schools were getting iPads. How do we get their files and folders from the file servers and that sort of thing? Well, hey, here's folder. And the Apple resellers loved it because they could sell the school a Mac Mini as well to run the folder VM on. It's kind of worrying sometimes, though. In a way, we probably did our job too well, because you go back to the school 3 or 4 years later, and and that Mac Mini running that folder VM has just been sat there. They don't even know it's there, but somehow they're magically moving all their files around among the classes on their iPads and that sort of thing. So yeah, we tried to make it as foolproof as possible. All right. Unfortunately, we did then run into a lot of people in other worlds that we moved into who would say, well, is there an MSI? No, there's not an MSI because it runs as a virtual machine. So that's been a learning curve for us.
But yeah, I mean, I was going to say that. You come from education. They start making noises. I met you, asked some very logical questions. The meeting wasn't as weird as you're making it out, in my humble opinion, apart from the shoes. Has it been different transitioning into business?
Yes.
Has it been different? What is the takeaway for you? Because I think it's safe to say that it wasn't a world that you trod into.
No, not
treaded. Trodded. Don't know. Someone tread. Whatever.
No, when we were in education, I would have done this all by myself. This would have been the Chris show. I'd have had my slides and that sort of thing. No, this is certainly not my native world, if you like. So yeah, it's been very different. The deployment aspect is slightly different. Generally, within reason, every school you visit has some sort of infrastructure somewhere, a server in the cupboard, or some of them have enormous data centers. Some of them have servers in the cupboards, but that sort of thing, you can plonk a VM on, no problem, off you go. That sort of thing. It's been interesting that businesses do not, massive warehouses, that sort of thing. Well, you got a server? Well, no. Why would we? Okay, that's fine. So that's been interesting. But then also the kind of the things they want to do with the data that we can provide access to are very different from education. So I think there's some crossover, but I think that was kind of my takeaway from that initial meeting was, well, there's a lot of weird stuff that I'd never even considered. So
just in the realms of software or in general? Because it was a meeting. I mean,
no, I think we only really talked about software that day. So.
Okay, fair enough. So on that, I've actually written this down. What's been the most surprising feature we've actually asked you for? Because we've asked for some pretty weird stuff. Normally Andy Lee's, I would say, asks the weirdest stuff, but he's not here. We can abuse him. So
when you say surprising feature, do you mean one I implemented or one I put in the
let's have
leave
both.
That for a rainy day pile? Goodness me. To be fair, I don't think there are many features we've not implemented. I mean, one of the things that we do pride ourselves on always is, when we were primarily education and now in education and business as well, is we always listen. We always take customer feedback, distributor feedback, reseller feedback. We always listen to it. Generally, there was a running joke within Selectec for a while that if a feature took more, if we hadn't come back within a day to say that we'd implemented the feature they'd asked for, we probably weren't going to do it. We do, the product has been developed and shaped all along through essentially feedback to us. It doesn't matter what we want to do with it. What matters is what the customer wants to do with it. I'd say the most surprising feature, if I were to look back now, was when they began talking about automation. Okay, fine. Well, what do you want to do? We want things to, magical things to run in the background and things to happen, and users to be able to do this, and this happens, and then and when that happens, that if this, then that, and that kind of thing. Okay, that sounds fine. Great. Well, what do we need to do? So we went away and wrote an entire scripting language to be able to facilitate that. Now, if you told Chris, the slide's gone. If you told Chris in 2012 that we were going to write our own language, so I guess it wasn't necessarily a surprising request, but it's surprising that we actually ended up doing it. So,
I'm thinking I'm not supposed to take an active role in this, but I'm actually thinking about that. And I remember the whole conversation. One thing I'll say about Folder is it's the only time I've worked in an organization that actually names stuff after the swear words you used in the phone call. Because I seem to remember saying to you, we need a thing that makes
stuff happen.
Stuff happen.
That's what you said.
And
stuff.
that is now makes
and we
stuff.
do make stuff happen.
Yeah. All right. Okay. Well, it was surprising. I'm trying. Is there any? Right. Let's get a little bit. This. What is so? You talk about folder, and anyone who's been familiar with the product. The key element of folder is that we now categorize this as an ECM tool, yeah, or IAM or DMS. Pick an acronym. But it's safe to say that this last couple of 3 years of energy has been about bringing the folder platform to the underneath of that sort of tool set. It's changed category in a sense. Would you agree?
Well, I still don't know what any of those acronyms stand for, but
We make them up.
that was the big takeaway from the meeting. Actually, was the number of acronyms used.
I don't mind a TLA. Three-letter acronym.
GIT. Anyway, yeah. So absolutely, that's kind of been
So
what I think you recognised, and what we now recognise we had was a platform that connects anything or anybody on any device with anything, and I think that's really quite special within the marketplace.
is
What you guys said was, well, hang on a minute. What about if you connect anybody on any device to anything, and they can do anything they'd like with it?
and that's roughly, I think, where we are. So it feels. So on that little bit of gossip, since we've been working with you, we've had to interact with all of the biggest platforms. We've had some really challenging, but which is it's a distributed storage market, right? People are talking to our friends at Microsoft. They're talking to our friends at Google. I know you don't like to speak negatively of any of the faceless corporates, but which is the worst of them to interact with?
From a technological standpoint, you mean from an API point of view, or if you need to need to contact their customer support?
Either.
Customer support with Google's don't exist. Apologies if there's any Google people in the room. In terms of API, the 365 stuff is horrible. Google was at least built for the web. I'm not sure people necessarily know that the SharePoint that powers 365 is the same SharePoint that people were installing in 2003 on servers in their offices and that sort of thing. And a lot of the back end and a lot of the way that it works is still very much that kind of 2003 model. So yeah, there's been, I think the biggest engineering challenge there was, and I believe we are the only product that does this. Apologies to any products that do this, but we can actually present Teams, so Microsoft Teams, not Google Team Drives, now Google Shared Drives, Teams, because there's we can present Microsoft Teams channels, whatever else they're called, as folders within a folder structure, within a drive, that sort of thing. So you can treat your Teams, if you like, just like any other storage and that sort of thing. There were some hoops to jump through there, but yeah, we did it. So
I'm going to summarize that into human speak, if that's okay.
Please do.
Just a little minute. But what I actually took away from that is the thing that everybody tells you that they're adopting as the new form of technology, the magic Microsoft SharePoint piece, is actually the same shizzle they were buying, sticking on their own disks 20 years ago.
Yeah.
Good to know.
And OneDrive is a SharePoint site underneath it, and Teams is a bunch of SharePoint sites underneath it with some Skype stuck on it. I don't know.
All right.
Once you start lifting the covers, because we have to make this stuff work, yeah, there's not much you don't see.
And on the basis of that, why is MASH a script engine rather than a pretty clicky, droppy, clackety good thing?
I think it could be a pretty droppy, clackety thing. I think it may well end up being a pretty droppy, clackety thing.
Will it now be called pretty clackety drop thing if we make it? Because that's going to be really tough on a brochure. We might need to talk.
PCDT, PSD,
PTSD.
Yeah,
is what they're getting.
yeah. Possibly, no, probably not. Why is it scripting engine? Because we didn't want to revisit it. So it's much easier to develop a scripting engine and then put some kind of click around UI on top of it that people can use, but they have all the flexibility underneath if they need it, then make a click around UI. And then, as is often the way, your partners come and say, well, this is great, but could it do this? And then you've got to rewire everything again. So we decided we get the fundamentals in place, the foundations in place, and it's amazing to see. I mean, it sounds like hyperbole. I apologize in advance, but you literally can do anything with it. You know, there's not yet been something that somebody's come to us with and said, "Can Mash do this?" Well, no, it can't. You know, one of the slides I was going to bring, if I'd put a slide deck together, I was going to list all the APIs that we could connect to, because it's all of them. You know, we can essentially, with Mash, we can connect to any service anywhere, and I think that's really powerful. And I think, quite exciting for us to work on.
I've enjoyed it. It's very different working with Folder than it is working with any other of the software vendors that we engage with. Very, very different, and different from a customer perspective as well. I mean, I think, Nick, you'll back us up on this. I mean, I would ask you, but you don't go talking to actual customers anymore. Far too important, you know. So, but this, it sometimes is one of our stumbling blocks, isn't it? Is that we can achieve absolutely everything. So it's about putting a framework around that. And I think one of the pieces is the sheer pace of development that Mash has been there. How's that been? Because in terms of the rate of features versus the documentation piece and how much effort that is, it's a fairly major task, right?
Yeah, it keeps us busy, that's for sure. But it also keeps things interesting. You know, it doesn't mean that we've made something, we've pushed something out into the marketplace, and we're just going to go and sit on the beach and wait for, you know, the purchase orders to fall in or whatever. It means that we're invested in its development and that sort of thing. You guys are obviously invested in its development from the feedback that you constantly give us. And as I say, it keeps us wanting to develop it still further. And I mean, I think the interesting thing, just looking at your slide, I've genuinely not seen before, is that a lot of the stuff here that it's describing Mash is able to do is very traditional, very kind of structured stuff. Because as you say, when something can do everything like that, you kind of need to put some sort of structure on it. But I think there's an important piece here as well around, if you like, thinking outside of your ECM, IIS, you know, acronym-tastic world, and thinking, well, you know, let's go wider with that. You know, really throw some random things at it and see what it can do.
So would you task the sales guys to find it, to challenge it, to ask it? I suppose that's the question. Because we're very used to a find feature, sell feature, benefit type sale. So it's actually really different knowing that the devs of the thing are actually going, no, come on, guys, this is all a bit tedious. Think of something else. How far do you want it to go?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, one of the interesting examples at the moment is obviously, you know, the current hotness within the IT world is obviously AI. You know,
I was just about to ask a question.
Oh, I do apologize.
I'll write it down.
I do apologize. AI. You know, hype cycle at the moment. You know, are we in the bubble? Is it the next Web3? Is it the next crypto? I lost money on both now. Hey, ChatGPT, tell me how to get my Bitcoin back. Probably. I think it will all shake out, and we'll find the things that it's good for, the things that it's useful for. I was reading a piece yesterday which said that currently all the big companies are losing money on every call that we make to AI things because computationally it's so expensive. So I guess at some point the investors are going to come home to roost. We could jemmy AI into Folder in certain places. You know, in theory, we still might at some point. But the great thing with Mash at the moment is, if you want AI in Folder, well, you know, put together a script that talks to ChatGPT to summarize a PDF in a SharePoint site, or, you know, find all the files in this folder that, you know, kind of go with this subject heading or whatever, and it will do it, you know.
Can we confirm here that is actually a working demo right now? I've seen a video of it. It is a thing. And I think I fell into the same AI trap that we've discussed, actually, is let's have AI in Folder. And then we all went, what for? And we can't actually come up with a good idea to use it for. So if you can think of one, let us know. And maybe that will actually drive the
I hope so. I mean, the hope with Mash really is that whereas before we were, as I said, we were working very fast. on feature requests that were coming in from the guys and from customers and that sort of thing. The hope is that increasingly now, when those feature requests come in, we can almost, probably with some pointers, but bat them back towards the customer to say, well, you can do it yourselves. You know, you want this particular feature, you want this particular platform, if you like, you know, this series of actions that work together to make this process happen. Well, you can do that. You know, we don't need to do that specifically for this one customer and roll it into the product. You know, you go away and you do that. And, you know, hey, if you want to then share it on the MASH library that I'm sure is coming, then that would be lovely. But
or even buy it, own it, and sell it again for the people here with mortgages. Just saying. So, all right. Well, I think we've waffled for 20 minutes. My only other question I was going to ask you, just because I'm actually interested already, so what's your app? What's app of the month for you? What are you playing with? Is there anything cool that's going on? I'm really hoping you're going to say no. Actually, no.
I 10-year-old and an 8-year-old. I have no time for apps. No time. No, my PlayStation 5 is a paperweight, and no time for anything, unfortunately. Well, you know, obviously making
Things
cool
like this.
software, but
Yeah, you do that.
thank you very much.
Anyway, this was a little bit off the cusp. Hopefully it was kind of interesting. Most importantly, Chris Wheeler is real. The nice thing is that these are...
I hope.
He is real. Yeah, I've met him a couple of times. And I think the relationship is such that if, you know, it is different to any other piece of software we work with. Whilst the people in Selectec have met the guys and, you know the guys at Paper Cut, and we do know the guys at Square 9 and stuff. Genuinely sit down, we can have a coffee and ask for features, ask for scripts, build things that can actually work. So it was just nice to actually have you come along and I guess, you know, chat to the man and what have you. So,
Is there any reason why we couldn't just use MASH now that I use it for solutions? That we could use the MASH scripting engine to talk them on another solution for another.
we'll chime in. You're staring at me.
Yeah,
aren't you?
well,
so
I said I don't
need
do sales
to-
anymore, so yeah, go.
Right. In answer, we do that already. In fact, we'll be talking about how we're doing that already. The fact that MASH needs a container almost to run in. Scott, one of our developers, phrased this because I asked the same kind of question. And I asked why developing in MASH was his favorite way to go. So we've got 2 tame in-house developers. We can't invite them to places because it's outdoors. And I mean, you need lead-lined vehicles. It gets very tricky. But he actually said, well, the great thing about developing in MASH is that the worst thing about developing software is that you need to build the business intelligence, as he puts it. You need authentication, you need hosting, you need platforms, you need all of that stuff. Whereas Folder is delivering that piece. Yeah. So it means you can very quickly get down to the brass tacks of building these interactions. So can somebody use MASH and by extension Folder and MASH without necessarily using all the features of Folder? So yes, you could put Folder in purely to host MASH as an environment. Only,
I mean, from our point of view, obviously that is, you know, a little sad because we have some very, very talented developers who write our client apps and that sort of thing, and you know, front end, and we think we have a nice look and feel and that sort of thing. So obviously we want, you know, users, we want people within the environment to be talking about the fact that they use Folder and that sort of thing. But yeah, I mean, the truth is that, you know, we know there's an immense amount of power there now in the background, and if people want to put that to work, then you know that's absolutely fine. And yeah.
We're going to share an anecdote about a partner that I can talk about because well, I won't mention their name actually because I've just realised we are on the interweb, so I'm not going to say the name. I was gonna, I'm not going to. And this particular partner is a SharePoint house, so that's what they sell is SharePoint configurations, and they you spent a lot of time doing quite a lot with SharePoint APIs for them. And it turns out, I think that the biggest challenge that they had was that they wanted to use folder and mash to deliver functionality that SharePoint couldn't deliver their customers. But when you actually get to the commercials of it, the problem they had was that their customers actually preferred the folder environment to SharePoint.
Yeah.
So one drives the other effectively. So, but we have certainly got elements and instances, Introvac being one of them, for example, that has folder doing things purely to make other things work. And is it a waste? Absolutely. But commercially, they paid for it.
Yeah.
There we go. Thanks. Apologies for not offering questions. I was trying to run, Graham. That's where I was going to go. Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah, well
Has
spotted.
anybody, I mean, he's here. Does anyone want to ask him? Or you can ask me questions, but you get less sense. Any other questions? Absolutely, Lance.
Is it all just through what, sorry? So authentication is so security. There is a thoroughly dull white paper all about security, folder and security, which the guys all know off by heart. So it was written from the ground up, from version 1 way back when we were just a school thing for security. I mean, a lot of people don't realize that information security in schools, you're dealing with kids' data. You know, it's kind of, you know, it's a massive issue. So everything was, you know, from day one, TLS, SSL, HTTPS, authentication was Active Directory. Authentication is now Active Directory. You can have accounts within folder. You can have you can use Azure should you so wish. You can use an external SSO provider, so Okta or whomever. All of the data, if you like, is encrypted in transit between the various sites and sources and that sort of thing. We are regularly, every quarter, audited by an external pen testing firm who prod and poke and you know, ask us for our inside leg measurements and that sort of thing, just to find, you know, any nooks and crannies. And we have always come out of that with flying colours and that sort of thing. We were offering MFA on folder before any of the cloud providers were even offering MFA, you know, to their users and that sort of thing. We supported what are now known as passkeys. Previously, they were known as WebAuthn, not quite as flashy as passkeys, but basically biometric authentication. We supported that before the major operating systems were offering it and that sort of thing. So the way we tend to look at it is that we build everything for security first, and then we put the cool stuff on top. But, you know, it might well be that we could have built the cool stuff, but then we'd have all these gaping holes underneath, and we'd very quickly, you know, fall on our ass. One of the other nice things about the appliance, which Damien asked me about, the appliance model, is that we can deliver all the operating system updates and that sort of thing as part of the appliance update to make sure that that stays up to date as well. So it's not a case of somebody having an ancient Linux box running on their system or whatever that they've not bothered updating, folders sitting there, you know, and we're pushing all those updates to the appliances as well as the folder updates. So does that answer? Does that do the
I'd like to
security side of things?
mention another thing actually, which came up yesterday.
Oh, sorry, one other thing: audit logging as well.
Yeah,
everything that comes through folder goes through. Everything is logged. So, you know, you've got your who, what, when, where, and how. We can't tell you the why. You've got to go and ask the person who did it that. But every action, every potential operation done on any of the data through folder is all logged and can be exported and combed through and forensically and that sort of thing as well. So you get a record there as well. So sorry, Damien.
One other element, I was talking to an IT company yesterday. We've had a couple of bits based on IT providers rather than hardware providers. Those IT companies, one of the things that came up was the ransomware elements that are built into it, which we also get to talk to people about. But
yeah, desktop apps have got anti-ransomware built into them. They've also got compliance checking built into them. So if you want to connect the Windows app or the Mac OS app to Folder, it can check for the version of the operating system that's running. It will check if it's got up-to-date and active antivirus. It can check if you've got Gatekeeper enabled on the Mac. You can filter based on process as well. So you can only allow certain processes on a client's machine to access data. You can disallow, blacklist, whitelist, that sort of thing.
Which is exactly where I was going. So in the main, as an experience, not as a developer, but as a guy who gets thrown into all sorts of horrible situations, I've never so far, touch wood, been in a situation where an IT organization has been involved, Folder hasn't offered them more security than they can offer without it, if that's a simple way of putting it as well. Always.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I mean, we've had, the worst thing you can do as a software developer is claim that you're unhackable, we're 100% secure. You can't say that because, there are bigger actors out there. They've just managed to get a load of government data out of 365, US government data out of 365. Because somebody left a token in a log file that they extract. Nobody would ever claim that. We have had instances where customers have contacted us to say that they've been victims of ransomware and that sort of thing. I'm pleased to be able to say that in every one of those instances, Folder hasn't been the vector, Folder hasn't been the cause, and in fact, they've actually been able to continue operating whilst they've shut other systems down because they've been able to carry on using Folder during those episodes. So,
Hopefully that's an answer, team. Yeah. Any other questions? Everyone's like, please stop. Please. Thanks for coming, dude.
Thank you.
Now you're going to keep talking, David.
Oh, Jesus. No, come on.
I did turn it on.
It wasn't on. It was on. It is on now. Oh, there we go. Right, it's still working.
I didn't ask all the embarrassing questions. Who's your tailor? Oh, I'm getting a drink. Getting a drink.
Oh, was it? All right, fair enough. Good.
Cheers.
I don't know where you're going, Damo. You've got to be.
I need a drink.
Right, what we'll do, we'll go through this section, and then we'll break and give you guys another 10 minutes, and then we'll come back and we'll do the training bit and the fun secret bit, and then we can go to the pub. All right, sound good? Marvelous. Everyone's still with us? Perfect. I'm not even going to wait for you to respond for that. You are still ready. We've just lost a few people, but there we are. They will be back. So this is the bit that we said that Max was meant to do, and he is ill, bless him. He's my younger brother, but he's still not turning up and making us go through this. So I will precursor this with apologies. Damien did assist with this side of the presentation, so I'm going to let him do most of the talking around it. But what we wanted to do was we wanted to bring a section of our presentation, of our event here, to assist with, as it says up there, areas of legitimacy. How can we, or what have we found and what have we seen within our current partner channel, within the current market, that can help you guys to appear more legitimate, appear more expertise, appear more...
Because he's not here.
Should we just slate him? Yeah, okay, perfect.
Max. Okay.
He is there, right? He is there. He's on the live stream.
Hello,
so...
Matt. Is he there?
Yeah.
Is this on? Right.
Yeah, it's on.
All right. So we're going to do this slightly differently because he's not here.
Okay, let's do it slightly differently.
He had a very polished deck. Obviously,
there's lots of notes on there as well.
Honestly, I can't. The reason I'm doing it is I haven't bought me binoculars, so I can't read it. That's the thing. And there's a lot of notes there.
There is a lot of notes.
You should come and see this.
There is a lot of notes.
I might read it later.
They're probably really important.
Probably not. Anyway, I was talking to Max last week, and he said he'd been asked by you, yes, to talk about how to improve the image of a reseller, how to improve it. And we talked about this a little bit in the last outing here. It's an area that's quite important for us, and it's something that we're growing because we are trying very hard to climb our business into another category. That's safe to say, Ted. And this is a big focus for you guys.
Absolutely.
It's kind of part of my role as well to not take away from our core business of the last 10 years, but to grow into a different piece. And And a big part of why Max is talking today, why Nick is talking today, why other people are talking, is so that the business gets a wider voice, and it's not always yourself and me and and the other guys.
And yet again, it's here. We are me and you
and
talking
me again.
Yeah.
And everyone's in the rooms going, "Oh bugger, I came to see Max."
No, what they're really thinking is, oh, good, they're on again. They're all happy that we're talking.
That's not what I'm
again.
thinking.
No, okay,
and this
cool.
is creeping me out as well. It's like it's like a
Being
really
chased
big
by a
fly.
bumblebee.
Yeah, I don't love it. I don't love it. But what we're seeing, and we're coming across all the time, conversationally talking to sales guys, certainly sales guys that are not talking about ECM, they're not talking about software. This isn't their background. What do they need to do? What can they do to gain legitimacy in that respect? To get their customers talking to them about different things, to get those customers opening up to them. Because invariably our market is still based on managed print services. It's based on hardware print devices. It's based on print management applications. That is still you probably even know the number, the percentage.
Probably.
Don't tell them.
I'm not going to say it.
But it's a big deal, right?
It is a big deal.
It's a big
Absolutely.
deal.
Yeah, very much so.
And we've learned a few bits in terms of things that will turn customers off. And we've tried to avoid them. We've tried to believe that they're not really a problem. But the whole, I don't know anything about that, I'll get a clever guy to come and talk to you, just is the same as standing at the front of the room going, I don't know what I'm talking about.
Don't know the answer to that, but I'll get back to you.
Exactly. Code 4, I don't know what I'm talking about. So let's go and find someone we do.
Yes.
And it's very, very different.
Wheel in the PS person.
It is.
Yeah,
Like
there
that.
you go.
I've been that person.
There's the clever bod.
Exactly. Okay. So why, about this building, I'm looking at this because I didn't build these slides. I genuinely don't know what's on them. I'm not going to read them, but I do need to read them to know what we're talking about, which is a start. But this thing about this perception of expertise, what can we do to make a customer believe that firstly, we are a trusted advisor in this space, that as an organization, we can deliver upon it, that we've got the right products, and we can certainly exercise those issues.
Very much like Selectec doing events like this to show you guys that we do know what we're talking about.
The sad
It works
thing is,
the same way.
The proof for us supposedly knowing what we're talking about is us.
Yeah, well,
maybe.
they're still all smiling, don't worry.
Okay. Now, what's he actually? I don't know what's in this deck. So if we go into this next little piece of what he's doing, so he's actually, in fairness to him, made some really solid notes. Have you listed these products on the website? Are they there as a category? As an organization, are you actively marketing these things? Are you talking case studies? Have you put this stuff front and center, or is it buried? We're currently going through a process of can I say new website? Can I say that? She's smiling in that, I hate him kind of a way. Yeah. So I've been told not to talk about the website.
Well done. You failed.
Good.
Marvelous.
That went well. Okay. So it's one of the things when we actually went through people's websites, because we do that because you're our partners, to find out which one of you who has the ECM tools, those kind of products, those kind of categories in an easily accessible frontline kind of place. And not everyone. Let's safely say that. So maybe that's the thing to think about. If you're trying to transition a message, maybe kind of do that. It's just a bit of a dig, but we could do that. Who here uses the folder tool? One. You're it.
One.
How'd you find it? No, sorry. So no pressure.
Here, take a mic. Up you get.
Yeah, exactly.
No, you work for us, so yeah.
Actually, you could. Do you use folder? Yeah. When we visited you guys last week, it was one of the things you actually pointed out for Max. You want to. Graham came out with my favorite quote. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna say it. He actually came out in a meeting with your own team and said, "We need folder." Didn't you? Just stitched right up. There you go. How are you delivering your collaterals? Because if you are actually talking to people about electronic documents, you're talking about process, you're talking about information sharing, and then you're giving them a paper brochure or you're dropping stuff via an untrackable email.
I was going to say, I know how. Read receipts. That's the best way to do it, isn't it?
Totally reliable.
Sending emails with read receipts. How many of you people have had experience with read receipts on emails? Hands up. Come on. Interaction. Yeah. You haven't had no read receipts? No? Yeah. Thank you. How many of you guys click yes to a read receipt? All right. I'll make it easier. How many of you click no to a read receipt? Right. Thank you.
I'm very trusting. I will say yes.
I say
it's like enabling cookies.
I'm looking for another option.
Yes, rather than a no.
Exactly.
Okay, fine. think about that though. Just think about the message of that. Let me talk to you about amazing software. Can I email you a PDF brochure? So just really think about those processes and where it goes. And actually, the lads at Folder have issued us lots and lots of NFRs. Have you not? You're very generous in that regard.
There's one or two, I think.
I'm not privy to those details, but I know that somebody at our place grumbles sometimes about
So there's a what the hell's
Careful.
Sorry, there's little. I keep getting stick for being a short person. In case you hadn't noticed, everyone here is really tall. I'm the only person who can walk around under the screen without banging their head. So no, Ross, true. To be fair, he is. He's in this.
Yeah, we've just put him in the cupboard.
All right. Think about it though, guys. If you're taking this product to market, are you using it? And if you're not using it, why aren't you using it? And if you aren't using it because you're not allowed to use it, can we work out a way to make it so it looks like you're using it, or at least have access to using it? So if you haven't, talk to your account manager, because a lot of the things that are actually being put in place by Ben is making sure that you guys have access to using this stuff. Paul, I believe you guys in the Nordics use Folder appliances as well now for stuff and things.
Does anyone remember? I talk about this a little bit. There was a guy that worked for, let's just say, an OEM, who was a very, very clever marketing director. He was absolutely fantastic, and he came or started presenting the eat your own dog food. Does anyone remember that? If you've been in the industry a little while, you'll remember it. And yeah, the messaging is a bit weird, and he did tend to get up on stage and open a can of cat food at one point and actually did it to prove his point. But the message still stands. That's what Damien's saying to you. If we eat our own dog food, we use Folder, Square 9 for all of our new internal processes. But spoke to Paul Eric last night. He went, that's amazing. We want to use it. We will use Folder and Square 9. Proof of concept, statement of works, quotes, the secret project, which we can't talk about because we're on the live stream. That all uses Folder and Square 9. We essentially eat our own dog food. We use our products because we know they are beneficial, and we know that they will be beneficial to you guys as well. And something like Folder, we can get you guys an NFR. I know Chris will hate me for that, but we can. We can get you access to this product. And when Damien starts speaking about the updates coming to Folder and Square 9, we've made it even easier. We've taken barriers to entries out of this product. But make yourself legitimate. Make yourself look like you're actually pushing these products because you believe in them, because that's what we do.
Did we?
No.
Okay.
I mean, yes. Sorry, I got caught up.
You did.
I did.
Actually, it's really a really relevant thing. Just think about this as next. I was reading an article the other day. If you want to know what the article was, I can't remember off the top of my head, but I will grope through my open tabs later. So a few things.
Danger.
There, by all means, come and have a chat. And it was talking about the adoption of processes, not specifically software, but about processes that are familiar to the person presenting. Okay. And think about this. If you sit in front of a customer and they're talking about this and you say, I don't know, I will get a clever person who does know, then immediately you've just excluded yourself from the conversation ongoing. But if you sit and say, well, actually, I use this feature, I use this piece of software to do this thing, even if it's not relevant to what that person is doing, you're actually showing that exponentially you have an element, you have an invested interest. I use this thing to do this. It's not what you want to do, but I do use it for what I want to do. So let's find out about the other thing. So get your businesses actually practicing what they preach. And if not, at least use the experience. If you work for an organization that's actually trying to sell it but doesn't implement it, take the lessons from what you can't do, which is kind of fair. That's where most of the feature requests we chuck at Chris have actually come from. Have you got a clicker?
I have. I was just going on to the partner portal, so we're moving on to the second thing.
There's one other thing.
Sorry.
Okay, we're not talking about the actual route to training, because Nick is the guru on that. If you haven't been certified, then do it, because it's the first thing. It's getting your L plates off. But if you don't know anything about the category, don't go straight into the sales training. Don't go straight into the technical training. Do the user training, because if you don't know anything about the product, it's what the users have been asked to, how do I do this? And it will tell you what people are actually doing with the damn thing. And as a reseller, we always go straight to reseller training, straight to technical track or whatever it might be. But if there's end user training, do that, because it tells you what people want to do with the damn product.
Absolutely.
Just a side note.
Just a side note.
Click
I
the
mean,
button.
yeah, I know, guys. You've probably seen all of this. You know that there is there's a paper cut portal here. We have the queen of the portal with us today, who will be able to answer any questions that you need. But there is all of this good stuff, and now we're talking about the co-branding side of it. How can we help you to show these products, show these brochures, show these presentations, show off all of these accreditations and everything like that to your customers? Papercut has a huge portal with all of these sales tools. That is just a snippet. You can download them, you can co-brand them, you can put your logo on there, you can do whatever you want. We've got the folder information as well. Look how sexy those brochures are. They're absolutely fantastic. Putting that in front of a customer, these are all brand new, and we will allow co-branding of these for you to your customers. Slap your logo on there, slap your contact details on there. The messaging is correct. The messaging is there. The message is powerful. And this is the new branding from Folder, which I fell in love with as soon as I saw it. I think the FileZen side of things is an amazing message, and it's a really nice story to talk to your customers about. But take the brochures. We've got them. Papercut, Folder, K-Pack, Square 9. We've got all of this stuff. You can put your contact details on the Papercut brochures. It's simple stuff, guys. It is really, really simple stuff. This gives you that air of legitimacy. It helps you to push the messaging across to your customers. And if you use Folder, you can deliver them in a professional way as well. Plus, you'll be able to see if someone's read it, or if they've downloaded it, or if they've done anything with it, rather than them ticking no on a read receipt that you sent them on an email. Square 9 brochures, there is thousands of them.
And they've all got lots of Zs in.
They've all got lots of Zs, and they're all very American, and they're all very, hey, how you doing? This is amazing. But they are very impactful. All of their brochures and all of their the global search, the global action, the global forms, all of that good stuff. It's all there. And guess what? You can put your company name on it as well. So it gives you that air of legitimacy. Deliver it in a smart way. You're going to be able to push it forward a little bit more.
It is one of my frustrations. I know the account manager's frustrations as well, is actually, if you haven't had a catch up with one of the guys for a while about checking through the collaterals that you have you got access to the library of the current ones? Are they co-branded for you? You know, get that done. We offer it, do we not? It's a thing. We don't. Do we charge for that now?
Nope.
Am I asking?
We do not.
We don't. So why wouldn't you? Yeah, it's free. May as well get stuff. When's the last time we gave anyone anything free?
You can have it for free.
Free.
We like a bit of free.
Prefer it cheaper.
Yeah.
Can I get a discount?
And then there's the other stuff. So not only is we've got that, we've got all of this good stuff as well. Do you guys need demos? It's fine. We can do that for you. We can help. You're worried about going into a customer and talking to them about Folder, Papercut, Square 9, whatever. We have the team to help you do that. We are channel organization. We do not sell direct. We can go in with you guys, as a partner, however you want it to happen.
I was going to say this is about image as well.
Yes.
You know, so it doesn't necessarily, I mean, there's different styles. If you want someone who's not going to come and talk like a Somerset farmer and say inappropriate things to your customer, perhaps get Nick to do it.
Yeah.
So, but there are different styles. So there's myself, there's Andy. If you're talking to anyone above Birmingham, get Andy. There's a different time zone.
We have no idea what he's saying most of the time, but
like
apparently he's quite clever up north.
Yeah, up north. Whip it.
Yeah, you can't give boost it, baby.
But he does.
But he does,
it's a
yeah.
northern thing. And as long as you do it before lunchtime, because you turn the electricity off. But apart from that, but by all means, pull these people in. But again, you've had Chris in the room today. He's going to hate me for saying this, but if you've got a customer and they want to know what the developer of it says, then by all means, you know, reach out to us. I'll bribe him. He'll moan. But the reality is that use these things. Well, you do,
you do it. He'll just dig you under the table. But we've also got the things like webinars, case studies, co-hosted events. That's available to you guys. And don't forget, if you're a Papercut partner as well, for example, we've got co-funding and things like that we can apply for. So if you want to do an end user event with Papercut or with Folder or whatever, then we can help you host that. And we can be there to present to the customers and answer any questions that you have. And also we can get co-funding the majority of the time as well. So if you need this, we can do this for you. If you've seen one of our webinars and you're like, I really like that, I want to present that to my customers, fine, get us. We'll do it. We'll sit there. We can pretend, we can act as if we are working with you guys or coming from you guys, whatever. We can present that for you. So it's all about having that air of legitimacy and how we can push these products forward. We are here to help. So please do use us.
there are also going to talk about training. There's actually quite a lot of video content, and one of the things I think, from certainly a Square 9 perspective, case studies. You may not necessarily want to share those case studies as they are with your end users, but what they are is specific use cases as to what people have actually done with the thing, and talking to Chris, some of the places the guys who actually put the software as well. So we're going to talk about it a little bit later about in terms of what we're actually doing with it. But utilize it yourself, use those case studies, rewrite them, post them wherever you want, do that kind of stuff.
Well, we did it for you guys from a sales point of view. We did a thing called the Folder 5s, which is essentially 5 of our customers that we worked with Folder. It was what their problem was, how we fixed it, and how long it took, and sometimes how much it cost. So we've got that information there. That's for you guys, maybe not for the end customers, but if it's going to help you, we can utilize that and we can push that to you.
I think the summary for me out of this is it's possibly time for a bit of a reboot. If this is, we've been trying to make ourselves right with we don't know how it works. We pull in a pre-sales guy. We don't, and it's actually time to step up and say, well, do you know what? I am going to learn a little bit, and I might leverage it, or at least try and build a process that makes it look like I'm leveraging it, because customers are very used to transacting directly now. They're very used to buying software with credit cards online. This is the thing we've discussed in terms of subscription. So there needs to be a value point. So get the co-branded collaterals, because then you're part of the gang. Put it on the website where it needs to be, so it looks like it's a thing you do. Find a way to use some of it, if only realistic. There's nothing worse. We had someone we were trying to talk to in a vendor recently, trying to share stuff with me via SharePoint. This guy is actually engaging with us to sell ECM, cannot share documents with me because his SharePoint environment doesn't work properly. If that's the way he's interacting with an end customer, you can imagine the customer going, really?
Most expensive free tool on the market.
Exactly. Yeah. It's like BMW sending me a Skoda as a courtesy car. It just doesn't work. You're always like wondering what's going on. So the image piece is a place where we're actually spending a lot of time. There's a lot of resource. We don't charge for it. If you haven't had a QBR about those resources, get one.
Absolutely. Reach out to us. Let us know what we can do to help you guys. We have the resource there, and we have the channel guys that are willing and coming to talk to you, especially Diane. She's absolutely gagging to get out there. So
what we were actually saying was basically
Diane's going to come and see you. She's going to come and bang on your door. And nationwide tour. But thank you, Damien. That was brilliant. We're summarizing it. Oh, I've gone the wrong way again. Here we go. So what we're going to do now, guys, we're going to say yes, have a 5-10 minute break, get some more coffee. And yes, you are getting to the final bit now. We've got 2 more sections. We've got Nick going to do the bit about increasing your odds and how you can get trained up. And then we're going to do the secret stuff. All right, guys. So another 5-10 minutes, get yourself a coffee, and then we'll come back. All right. Thank you. Oh, there we go. There we go. Yeah.
Right, so where am I not allowed to stand? Over here. I go start drifting out the door. Look, that's what's happening. Apparently, I'm not in shot. How Hollywood. Right then, getting through to the last bit now, guys. So we've got Nick, who's going to be going through a little bit on the training side of things, and then we're going to pass over to Damien and Sean. And then I will do a little summary and a wrap up and point you to the direction of the pub, because that's the best bit, let's be honest. But yeah, Nick, take it away.
Well, guys, nice to see some familiar faces and some people I don't know. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Nick Gill. I'm one of the pre-sales solutions consultants here at Selectec. Been here for around 5 years or so and been doing this for longer than I care to admit or remember. Worked in the industry for a long time, so I work with all of the print management, you know, Equitrack, Uniflow, MyQ, workflow, auto story, copy, document management, therefore DocuWare, you name it. I mean, this is how long I've been in here. So I used to work with Danwood when Graham was there. I was installing paper cut from a statement of work. It was a bit rubbish that Graham had written. And our illustrious MD, Ted, was technical support for paper cut. So that's going back a few years. So
Ted was technical support?
Ted was technical
No,
support.
he
I remember,
wasn't.
I said the first time I met him, I had to
Get
phone
on.
him from a company in London. So I'd never seen paper cut before. And he was the person who picked up the
I
phone.
heard Ted's sales pitch for paper cut. It was brilliant.
Yeah,
it was
man.
absolutely fantastic. Why should I buy it? Looks nice. Okay.
So today it looks like I've drawn the short straw. I have to follow Selectec's own comedy double act, which is Ben and Damo, and talk to you about training. So hopefully I'm going to keep you entertained for the next 5 or 10 minutes or so, just to talk to you about why training is important for, you know, for helping you promote our solutions and softwares and what they can do for your customers. So if you need something like automatic print queue deployment, that's paper cut, print deploy. If you know it, then you know that's what it does. If you need redaction of personally identifiable information, that's a mouthful.
That is a mouthful. Well done, sir.
From documents that are in situ, that's folder, that's mash. If you need extraction, Simon, you know about this, of, you know, delivery note data, invoice data, import into an ERP system in a particular format, that's global capture on one of our extensive nodes that we create for global capture. If you know this, then you've got something to sell to your clients based on their needs, requirements. So like I said, I've been doing this a long time. I specialize in the workflow, sort of digital transformation, information management area of the business. Basically, we're here to help you help your customers. Again, ask any questions throughout. I'm not this, more of a workshop type thing.
I like the fact you got the clicker, but you're going to use the keyboard anyway.
I'm not very good at this. I'm trying to speak as slowly as
He's
possible.
really good at technology, I promise.
I tend to speak too fast. So let me slow down. Let's start off with paper cut and Hive. Log into the portal, as we mentioned earlier. They've got a training section in there. They've got a full range of sales and technical training available. Starting off, even like Damien said earlier, I nicked a bit of my thunder actually, even that was his idea. Start off with the foundation training. It talks about the history of paper cut, who they are, how it was born, like Chris was speaking about folder earlier. Okay, it gives you a bit of background on the company. If you're going into your clients, you know who they are, what they stand for, you know, their credentials.
Yeah.
Gives you all of the basic features. If you want to move on and feel brave, do the advanced training. Luckily now the advanced training only requires certification every 2 years. We work for Paper Cut ASC. We've got to do ours. So I was happy when they changed it to 2 years. And if you want to specialise in an area such as high availability, they've got the specialist areas of the training as well in their portal. So have a look. There's lots in there. They've got a dashboard. So on My Courses dashboard shows you the progress that you've got, that you've done, and the completed courses. And then at the end of it, to help with your legitimacy, as we was mentioning earlier.
Yeah, come back for the training.
Save the best
They
for
heard
last.
Gilly talking.
Just talking about training, certifications, talking about Paper Cut, MF and Hive. Certification badges for your email signatures, for your LinkedIn profiles, course completion certificates that you carry around in the yellow leather envelope, or share them with your end users via folder.
And also on that point, sorry, Sean asked me to mention something about Hive and certification. Do you want to just maybe do that bit?
Give me a chance to get a cup of water.
See, she's telling you off already. She's only been here like an hour and she's telling you off. But she's absolutely right. Hive certified, and is it one of each? Is that right? One person in the company.
So you won't be able to get a trial for Hive unless you have those 2 certifications. All right.
Yeah, yeah, please.
If you take the Hive test now, that will last you through 2024. The MS tests are all going to be renewed in the next few months.
Yeah.
So we are going to be launching something around that.
Yeah, we're going to be pushing forward quite a lot with this, guys, and there's going to be a lot of noise from us about the accreditations and certifications and things like that. And we're going to make it fun in our own Selectec way, and we're going to try and give you a little something back as well. But thank you. Yeah, it's worth mentioning.
So I think that's 2 good reasons, actually. So there's 2 good reasons: product familiarity, and you certified so you can obtain NFR licenses. Because without the training or certification, you're not going to get them. Down, right, Ben?
Yep.
Right.
That's it.
Oh,
So
here we go.
Oh, you surprised
I
yourself.
think everyone here has probably seen the paper cut portal. Anyone hasn't? Anyone hasn't got a login for it? No? Great. Log into the portal. You've got a big button there that says training. Click on that. You'll be redirected to the paper cut LMS, which by all standards is quite extensive. They've got absolutely tons of training collaterals in there for you to run through. And it's not the worst in the world. Trust me, I've done all of this Square 9 American stuff, literally all of it. And that's slightly more annoying than listening to the Australians.
It's all video. It's all video driven as well, guys. They've changed the way they do their LMS now. So it was like watch the video, answer a load of questions, but now it's actually as you're going through the video, it's checking your knowledge as you're going through it. There's been a heavy investment into the LMS, so hopefully it will be a little bit more easier to get through as well.
But I mean, it's all relevant for understanding exactly what it does. You might be sitting in a meeting and not have realised that paper cut's got a particular, like I said about the print deployer, being able to deploy print queues automatically. You may not know that without having sat through the training. Same with all of our other products. I've done mine. There you go. We've got a high one up there as well. They're just proving it. I've done mine. I've got the badges. I should have worn a badge out as well today. But one of my colleagues, mentioning no names, right, put every single certification badge at the bottom of his email. It was about this long. And I was like, mate, you've got to take that off there. Honestly, it's too much.
Just put them all on a PDF, share them
Yeah,
through folder.
yeah.
Done. There we go.
Exactly. I'm going to leave that.
He's out
up
of
there
date,
for me.
no.
I'm happy about it.
So just hold that up there, Nick. Sorry.
Oh, yeah. Moving on. Moving on swiftly. Folder. Folder now has an LMS. As the guys mentioned earlier, it's forever evolving. Folder's now got an LMS. Okay, get in there, watch some of the videos. This is key as well because it is forever changing. So there's a dashboard in there showing you get a course completion certificate as well. But more than certificate, more than completing the course, get in there so you're familiar with how it works, so you can share it with clients.
There is one more extra added bonus in there that if you do watch the videos, you get to listen to Max's dulcet tones throughout the whole thing because Max actually voiced the LMS for Folder. So if you like him, you have to go and watch the videos because then you can just completely take the mick out of him the
Sounds
whole
like somebody
time.
doing Thomas the Tank Engine.
Well, it's because you told him to.
To be fair, he's done a good job. He speaks very clearly and yeah, slowly. So it's good. So
He
good.
does, yeah.
So if you need access to the Folder LMS, this is what it looks like. Very nice, very purpley, very zen. The new theme.
Yeah.
Very nice. I like it very much. Speak to your account manager. Unless your account manager's Lee and you haven't got an hour to spend on the phone. Sorry, that was a bit harsh. Oh, sorry.
You could have not, could you?
Or email sales@selectec.com. We'll get you access to it. Have a look at the training videos that are in there. It's a bit of an eye opener. Okay.
He's actually written that on his notes there, Lee, as well.
Where are we at? Okay, Square 9. Square 9. They have an absolute wealth of technical. Now, they haven't just got the technical advanced installation type training. They've got end user training videos and tech tip videos, which are great. Okay. I know during COVID, I sat through literally all of them. There's a worldwide leaderboard on there now. You get certification badges, you get for your email signatures, you get certificates, all of that sort of stuff. But for knowledge around the products, because it's a suite of products. You've got forms, you've got capture, you've got search, you've got global action, you've got everything. So there's a lot to it. Okay. So
Who do you reckon's on that global leaderboard, Gilly? Who's there? Is there two?
Let's have a look, shall
is
we?
there-
Let's
oh,
have
oh,
a
there
look.
we
Oh,
go.
he's only third.
Here he is.
He's only third.
Yeah.
Jesus, Lee.
Well, you
That's
could
fine.
see-
Now we're even. Now we're
You
even.
could
As
see-
of last week, I was third in the world on the leaderboard. Now Andy has managed to creep above me, but I took the screenshot when I'd done it last week to show you that I did that. But you get the idea. You get the technical sort of certification badges to prove that you've done it, to prove your legitimacy. You've sat through it. Most of all, you know it. You're familiar with the products and its functions and its features. There's tons of stuff in there. Okay, it's worth doing. Even if you do the user videos, like Damien said, I know I keep banging on about it. Half of the stuff in there you might not have a clue that it does until you sit through and watch them and take a few minutes each.
And the way to get access to this one, Gilly, is it's a little bit more in depth than the other ones. So we do need you to fill out a reseller form. It is literally a one-page form that just gives us a bit of information about you guys, which we can then submit and then get access to the reseller portal with the LMS. Yes, Damo. I knew you were going to say something. Yeah.
Someone's telling you a feature that happens in Square 9, that doesn't necessarily mean that it doesn't happen within the folder and match product. It doesn't mean it can't be impacted by other tools that we have, or even useful for things that we don't sell. You know, because it's about that industry understanding. If you don't know that a feature exists, how do you know the people are using it? So it's that simple.
Yeah.
And not only that, as one of the pre-sales technical guys here, we're going to try and provide you the least cost, sort of best solution for your customer. So if you've got a question around a requirement, that it might not just be Square 9, it could be a hybrid of both Folder and Square 9, or even just paper cut. We've had one recently that I did for a partner, which they were using Auto Store, Equitrack, and something else. I took the whole lot out and we did the advanced scan. What was advanced scanning 5 years ago when they first signed the contract? Did the whole lot with paper cut. Customers well happy. They only had one interface to control rather than two separate servers, Auto Store on one, Equitrack on another, the link in between the two, all of the aggro that goes with maintenance renewals from, Kofax. Yeah.
Stop swearing.
Sorry. So portal access, like Ben said, fill in a reseller form, you'll get access. Log into the portal, you'll be redirected to the Square 9 LMS, which I'm going to show you very quickly. I don't just want to say
Whoa, danger.
this is dangerous. Trying to do it live. My mouse isn't working now. Here we go, logged in.
Look at that. It works.
So down the left-hand side, you've got all of your various bits and pieces. I'll tell you what, I'll stand here so I can use this mouse. So that one's not working. This is good times.
We're getting
Please
there.
bear
Mate.
with
We got
me.
there.
Where's the mouse?
There you
Oh,
go.
it's there.
We're there.
So you've got home, my learning on the left-hand side, shows you all the courses I've completed. Down the left-hand side here, what I was just saying, I don't want to just, say it and show you smoke and mirrors. You've got literally all the different types of filters down the left for the skills you can acquire, the types of learning, the different tags they've got. There's absolutely tons of stuff in here. So there's, learning paths, global search, global forms, global capture certification. You get the idea. The worldwide leaderboard.
Oh, you danger.
Yeah.
Danger.
Oh, look at that.
Oh,
I'm going to go. I'm coming out of there straight away. Here's all my badges. Just remember number 3 and they're all my badges, right? Yeah, Andy's got above me. When I told him I'd reached number 3, we have a bit of a nerdery thing going on at our place. Who can be the top? And it was flipping me. Anyway, never mind. Back to where we were. Let's open.
So yeah, click on the. And then we'll. Yeah, sorry, man.
Thanks, mate.
There you go, brother. Oh, that work?
Oh,
no. Hang on.
again.
Oh, do. Sorry, guys. Apologies. Hang on. Take that.
Good work.
There we go. We're
Thank
good.
you,
Oh, are we? Oh, God. Sorry, you've moved on. There you go.
Oh,
K-Packs,
right.
everybody.
So Square 9, you get the idea. Square 9, K-Packs, fleet management. Their Blue Mega's website, again, has got the technical resources, knowledge base, video resources. If you're not familiar with, the devices it covers, what metrics you get back from those, all of that sorts of good stuff is available on their portal, which
The
You can log
Blooming
into-
Academy.
Something I was going to say also is this presentation is going to be shared at the end. So like I said, either speak to your account manager, email us sales@selectec.com, or wait until this is shared. There's going to be links given to you for all of these LMSs to have a look at yourselves and go through. Finally, Intuitive. So Intuitive dashboards. Their partner portal's got lots in there as well, actually. They've got a learning hub, demo system, editable documents for marketing, which again, we can help you out with as well. But they've got a couple of different levels of training available to you. So foundation, technical and sales. But again, this is worth looking at because when we first took it on as a product, this is where I went to learn it before I could speak about it in front of customers, because it just tells you all of the different types of dashboards and stuff they do to complement paper cuts already vast range of reports. Sorry, Lee. Yeah, unless it's you. Sales@selected.com. Speak to your account manager. Give us a shout. Happy to help. Like I said, all of the links are here. When we share the presentation, you'll get those. And me and Larry, that's it. Thanks, guys. Hope it's been useful. Thank you.
Thank you, Nick. Right then, we're getting into the final part now. And at this point, you're going to have to wave goodbye to everyone on the live stream. Sorry, guys. You should have been here because you would have heard about the secret project. But now we're going to cut the live stream. So thank you very much for joining us. And yeah, we're going to hand over to... Is that stopped? Because that means we can take these things off now.